You can't live in the past. Some folks live most of their life in the past. Instead of focusing on the present, they reminisce about the past. All they can think about is how things used to be. Nothing is right now, but everything used to be all right back then. They use what used to be in the past to compare and criticize what's right now in the present. The problem that most people have is that they don't realize that the past is gone. That's the reason they call it the past, because it's passed away. It's gone forever, never to come back again. We might call the past the good old days, but there's no such thing as good old days. That's just a figment of your imagination. You call them the good old days because your mind plays a trick on you. You see what your mind does? It blocks out all the bad memories and keeps you from thinking about them, and your mind reinforces the good memories and plays them over and over and over again. We remember those wonderful moments from the past, but we forget about those less pleasant experiences. We remember the hot biscuits and the syrup from long ago, but we forget about what it took to build the fire in that old wood stove. We forget about chopping woods and bringing in the coal and cleaning out the ashes from that old stove. We remember the lovely summer days of our youth, but we forget about the fact that we didn't have air conditioners in our homes or in our cars. We only had one or two stations on the television, no cell phones, no iPods, no CDs, no DVDs, no Xboxes, no Wii's, no Man, no 8, no frost refrigerators, no self-cleaning ovens, no electric can openers, no calculators, no computers, no internet, and you couldn't even buy a loaf of bread on Sunday because the stores were closed. We remember the vinyl records and that living room console stereo and that 8-track player and that jukebox. But we've forgotten about how those records sounded when they got old and full of scratches. We remember Ed Sullivan and Lawrence Welk and American Bandstand and Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom and all those old soap operas that were running back then and are still running today. But we forget about that little old 6-inch television that was a black and white picture that had a knob that you had to tune like you tune a radio, that you had to adjust the rabbit ears to keep it from snowing all through your program. You know, the more I remember about the past, the less they seem to be good old days. The good old days are gone. But there is a connection between the good old days of the past and this present time that we're living in. What has happened in the past has a direct effect on where you are in the present. There's always a connection. There's always a continuity of time. There is a connection of events, both good and bad. There is a linking of circumstances. Something happened in the past to bring you from where you used to be to where you are today. You know, you can't live in the past, but you can learn from the past. Each of us has made mistakes in the past, and we should learn from those mistakes. You know, somebody once said if a mule kicks you one time, that's the mule's fault. But if the mule kicks you a second time, that's your fault. You should learn from your experiences. Don't continue to make the same mistakes in life. That shows that you're not learning from your experiences. When you make a mistake, first of all, you got to admit it to yourself. If you won't admit that you made a mistake, if you won't admit that you should not have stood behind that mule in the the first place, you will probably do it again. The Bible talks about a deceitful person. Do you know what a deceitful person is? He's a person who does something wrong and won't admit to himself that what he has done is wrong. Deceitfulness comes from the Greek word apateo, which means to cheat, to deceive, to beguile. And it means that which gives a false impression, whether by appearance, statement, or influence. When you make a mistake and won't admit to yourself that you made a mistake, then you're giving yourself a false impression of the reality of the situation. Lay down your pride and stop being deceitful and admit that you made a mistake. Examine the reason you made the mistake. Was it a problem of the head, or was it an issue of the heart? Was there a logical reason that you made the mistake, or did you make it because you made the wrong spiritual choice? Did you pray to the Lord and ask him to lead you into the right decision? Did you move before you had all the information that you needed? Did you allow your emotions to get in the way of your judgment? Was peer pressure a factor in your choice? Examine the reason you made the mistake. Try to figure out what you could have done differently. Try to understand how you could have made a better choice. Try to comprehend what you should have done to make the right choice. You can't live in the past. But the past can help you understand why you are in the situation you are today. There's a connection between what you've done and what has happened to you in the past and the situation that you find yourself in today. What exists in the present is a direct result of something that happened in the past. If you don't have the job you want today, maybe it's because you never took the time in the past to prepare, to get the training, to get the education for the job you want today. If you don't have the kind of credit that you would like to have today, maybe it's because you never learned how to manage your money. Your spending was out of control, and you never learned the discipline of sticking to your budget in the past, and that has caused your credit problems today. 2007 is almost completely past. It's almost completely gone. And if we're honest with ourselves, each of us can look back over 2007 and see things that happened back then that caused us to be in the situation that we find ourselves in right now. We should be able to look back over this passing year and be able to identify decisions that we made that have brought us to where we are today. We should be able to see the mistakes we made this year and learn from those mistakes so that we won't make the same mistakes in 2008 that we made in 2007. That's right, man. You can learn from the past, and the past can help you understand the present, but you can't live in the past. Take your focus off the past and live in the present. Because our text tells us each day has enough trouble of its own. Instead of living in the present, some people live in a world that has already passed away. Instead of living in the present, other people live in a world that has not yet come into being. The problem that some people have is that they live in the future. This time last year, 2007 was still in the future. Many of us were truly determined to make 2007 a better year than 2006 was. I imagine that some of us were successful in some things and some of us were not. I'm not sure that the ones who were, I am sure rather, that the ones who were successful were the ones who lived in the present in such a way to make come to pass what they desired in the future. They did what they needed to do in the present for them to get what they desired in the future. They did what they needed to do in 2006 for them to get what they desired in 2007. And they've been doing what they need to do in 2007